Adetokunbo Kayode, CON, who is the president of Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry. He's a senior advocate of Nigeria and also a former Minister of Defense. You're welcome to Sunrise Daily.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Well, yesterday was May Day, and one of the things that was at the forefront for a lot of workers was a 30,000 naira minimum wage, with a lot of governors saying, we promise we will pay, you know, even though we can see from some states that all is not well. Even the 18,000 naira minimum wage, they have been struggling to pay. And May 29 is almost here, where some governors are going to be handing over, others are going to be continuing in office. What do you think is going to be the biggest job ahead for the governors who will be coming into office, even for those who will be continuing as well?
I think the greatest challenge is planning. There are no plans on the ground. And this has been continuous for a long time now. Mm-hmm. There must be a plan. I'm not aware of any governor that can claim he has a clear-cut roadmap for the state he's governing. Either those who are continuing and the new ones are coming in. So the first thing really is between now and May 29th and immediately thereafter, there has to be some plan on the ground. It does not need to be a perfect plan, but there really must be a roadmap for development. You
can't see anyone, even amongst the states which we hear shining lights, so to speak.
I would like to see, because a plan is not a hidden thing. Because if there is really, then other states could really actually adopt and maybe plan a bit to suit their purposes. And this is where the federal government really ought to intervene. Over time, we've always overlooked the need for a plan. You see, like getting to this studio this morning, I just put it on Google, and it showed me the road I have to get here. The same thing with a plan. A plan is just a roadmap for you for development. We can do it, and it's not really expensive. And just one template could be adapted for the purpose of other states. Most of our challenges are the same. Now, it is when we have that clear-cut plan, which I said for me is not a big deal. You don't need 420 people committed to do it. We do that, then you can be able to know where to develop industry, how to raise revenue, and how to generate income. Unless you do that, we will continue to just do the same thing the same way and maybe expect better results.
It's interesting that you say lack of planning. Because some states will argue that they have plans, and some states will say, if we didn't have a plan, we would not have recorded the kind of successes that we have seen in the last couple of years. I'll give you an instance, Kaduna State, for instance, where the governor has tried to, attract some investment to the state in the last couple of years, which seems to be yielding some fruit. This is despite the security challenges that have bedeviled the state as well. Wouldn't you say that in that light, perhaps there is a plan? Maybe a lot of people are just not aware of the plans that some of the states have. The
plan should not be secret. That is one. Two, I am happy for Kaduna State and maybe one or two other states, but we're talking of 37 territories.
36 states. Yeah?
Well, 36 plus the FCT.
Plus the FCT.
Yeah. So I want to just take it that the FCT is one of the states, right? We need to have a clear-cut plan. If Kaduna has, fine. You've taken one. Take the second one. Maybe you want to talk about Lagos. Which other ones? So if we have 2 over 36, what are we talking about here? So, and it is just not a personal plan. I mean, a corporate plan for the state. Look, this is a very serious matter. It's something that has bothered me over time. And I know of a state that ever tried to do this. That was Ondo State in 2003 under Governor Agagu. He tried to put in a working plan. And it should not be a secret. Everybody in the state will know this is where this state is going. This is our area of focus. If you have someone like Erufai in Kaduna, using the force of his own personality, because of his experience and some knowledge, he could actually attract certain things to the state. But what happens after him? Where's the real plan to work out the challenges of education in Kaduna State, of industry in Kaduna State, of creating that value chain? For instance, textile. Everybody knows about textile in Kaduna in the past. Where's the value chain? Where's the roadmap to develop the value chain? The cotton support, the spinning companies, the companies that then and getting the textile mill working, and thereafter turn it to other things. look, let's leave hype. The important is that states must have a plan, and the earlier they did, the better. And I think the federal government could intervene to support them. It's a serious challenge.
Yeah, but even the federal government, we know that there is a huge Ministry of Budget and Planning in the federal government. I think, well, budget and planning, they're still together, I think. Because I think we still have a Minister for Budget and National Planning. And it was in that...
I'm not starting about
Some people say that Nigeria has never really had a problem with planning. I mean, coming up with... We've had different plans. There was planned for the year 2000. Now it was planned for year 2020. Now it doesn't look like 2020 is going to work anymore. We're going to have to shift the goalpost again. Is it really about plans or implementing the plans?
I think really, speaking for myself, I think it's about plan. We had the Vision 2020. We never implemented it. So if you have a plan and you never implemented it, you had no plan. And that's the difference. Our problem is about planning. If anybody says, oh, our problem is not planning, but how to what then? What's the problem? You see, you cannot develop unless you cannot build a house unless you have a plan, or that's going to collapse. You can't go anywhere unless you know where you're going. There's a roadmap for it.
If you have the plan of the house and you're not following the plan,
then you have no plan. I mean, you have a car and it has no tires. You have no car. You have a car, you couldn't put fuel. You have no car. That's the truth. So, to move quickly, so we don't, the plan is that there must be some roadmap for a plan to do something. What is the main issues? Food, accommodation, okay, education and health. Just take those 4 critical things and run it through. It is possible. I'm from Ondo State. I live in FCT. I want to see the plan for development of agriculture industry. Show me. I can't see any. Show me in any state. People say, oh, federal government is emphasizing agriculture. Everybody run to rice. Everybody run to cassava. But that's not all. Even the chain for that, it's non-existent. Now, you see, again, it is not, when nobody's criticizing, I don't believe in criticism, but I don't want to make ideas, push ideas out there. I let everybody, those who are in charge, take it and look at how they can work with it. Okay? And it is possible. Look at enterprise. How do we get young people to work? How do they get skills? We need to have, for instance, and it's not difficult, a skills policy and target what areas do we want. There must be, when you have a policy, you put a plan to implement it. It is not difficult. But just sitting and say, oh, we have a plan. Oh, we had a plan last year, or we are not used to. No, something has to happen. Because really, this country is on the threshold of a breakthrough. We are not really, things are not really as bad in terms of development as we think. If you look at the indices, we're on the threshold of a breakthrough. But there must be a plan for it. We can't just wish it.
It's interesting, threshold of a breakthrough. Meanwhile, we're seeing grim reports. It was, I mean, we saw a couple of days ago UNFPA talking about Nigeria's increase in population. This morning, there are reports of Nigeria's rising population, a ticking time bomb. And you say we are on the verge of a breakthrough. Yes, we are, because even that, the demographics of that is not negative if we use it. We are going to have maybe the largest population of young people, I mean, comparatively in the world in the next 10 years. People from 18 to 40. Now, that is a very powerful workforce to use if we put in the plan and implement it, and we'll give them skills. Again, that is not difficult. Just do it, okay? Everybody's looking at technology now. Technology companies are the biggest in the world now. What are we doing about technology? I want the states to take, you see, because it's not enough to sit down and assume that everything will come from Abuja. What are the states doing? Now, what is the federal government doing about getting the states to work? And don't assume that they have capacity. I have seen it. They don't. That is the truth. Even if you by capacity, you mean? Can you break it down?
Yeah, capacity in terms of knowing what to do and knowing how to do it.
That's the governors or the state government or who precisely?
You know, the most democratic arm of the Nigerian government is the federal government. At the states, it's an oligarchy. The governors control the House of Assembly. They choose the judges, the judiciary. So we have to put it on the table of the governors. Tell me, just pick anyone, any governor and any state government that you can call a model, or you can say, yes, this is on the right track in terms of plans, policies and plans and development. And being able to leverage on the strength of that. Every state has something, okay? Either it's in agriculture, or a lot of young people can work, or institutions that can be used to create value and also share value. But for me, my own message is that it is possible. It is possible. Just focus on it. Just know that when you get sworn in on May 29th, you must have a plan. If you don't have, start today, or maybe on Monday, because we are middle of the week. Start on Monday. Put in the people in a month's time. You have something. It will not be a perfect plan, but you know where you're going. You know why there's a lot of leakages, financial leakages at the states? Because they have nowhere to put the money. They have nowhere to put the money.
I don't understand that. What do you mean by they have nowhere to put the money?
Yes, because they just don't know what to do with the money. That's why the money is 1 billion for security. So what's happening about security? It's not a matter of having money, even throwing money, but have a plan. There must be a plan. And I want to challenge the media to support this campaign. Take any governor, anyone, just at random, they come to sit down with you here and say, can we look at your plan for developing this state?
I can tell you that we've done that over and over again. But let's quickly go to Lagos now and take questions from my colleagues there.
Yeah, good morning, Prince. I just want to find out, I mean, when you say the states don't have capacity, is that an indictment of sorts on the private sector? Because you have several of those in several states, but what exactly do you mean when they don't have capacity?
Well, I'm dead serious about this. There's serious dearth of capacity in the states. Capacity to put plans together, that's why they don't have it, to put policies together, and to put a roadmap for implementing those policies. What should private sector be doing? Private sector have a serious duty to work with the government to assist in development. But you know, there's this funny and unfortunate mentality of competition. Instead of collaboration, the government agencies tend to compete, you know, with the private sector. I think we must change this. And for the short period I had the privilege of working in government, I saw it, and it bothered me. But then they say, oh, because you are from the private sector, that's why you want the private sector to take over what government does. But you see, without the private sector, the public sector cannot really succeed. So there should be that synergy. For instance, the Chamber of Commerce or the Manufacturing Association offices in states should be in synergy with the state government about what they plan to do in respect of commerce and industry. I challenge any state that says that they are doing this. And this is the right thing, this is the right way to go. So let us do it. It is possible. What about skills development? What skills are required in, for instance, Bauchi State or in Osun State for the young people to put them to work? Work with the private sector to develop those skills. They are usually short programs. In 2 months, 3 months, you've added skills to the certificates of people who have BSc Yoruba or BSc Geography or BA Yoruba, whom you can't put to work unless they add some skills to it. So that's the kind of thing I'm looking at. Synergy with the private sector, but there must be a plan, a roadmap for development.
So
we get nothing.
From your observation from a distance, even now that you're in Chamber of Commerce, have you seen any indication, any attempt whatsoever at any level in governance where they are taking or taking deliberate steps to ensure that they bridge that gap and not compete with the private sector, such that it will give us hope to build on?
Yes, of course. At the federal level, you know, on a quarterly basis, the vice president meets with the organized private sector. This is a good first step. But I wanted to go beyond the talk shop. Even though we salute the effort of the federal government on this, we wanted to trickle down. The National Economic Council, for instance, should find a way to enforce some of this agenda, like having a policy and plans at the state level, and should be able to bring it for support from the National Economic Council. Then the state organized private sector must be together with the state government. The state government must understand that you are partners. Without you, we cannot succeed. We work together to deliver. Take, for instance, look at in education now. Check any state, especially from the middle belt down to the south. There are more private institutions in education than states. So what is the synergy in terms of government policy on education with the private sector, who are actually more in education than the state government, or the federal government for that matter? So take FCT, there are more private secondary schools than government secondary schools. And I challenge anybody to say that the private sector is not adding value, and that there's a synergy and synchronization of for instance, the curriculum of the private schools and the government schools. And this is where the issues are. And what about skills development, skills training? In the Abuja Chamber of Commerce, we established the best center to give skills to young people. And it is a big challenge to even get the government to support that. And you know that unless you give skills to young people, they will be roaming the streets. Your BA, whatever you read, is not going to give you a job. It's until you acquire additional skills. Like a lawyer, you go and get your BLLB. You don't go to court until you get your BL. That's the additional skills you have to acquire. So that's the point I'm making.